What's up everybody, Austin Krujek here, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm having a blast teaching you guys how to edit these split screen music videos and hope that you guys are busy at work editing your own. If you have not submitted your split screen music videos, I'm going to be reviewing a lot of them, and we've got some great submissions next week. So if you haven't submitted already, that link is in the description below. Just head there, submit it, and we're going to have a great time next week. Today is our third part to how to create split screen music videos. Today we're going to be covering actually editing your videos, which if you haven't checked out the nested sequences and the timeline organization videos, those are some crucial steps to kind of getting us to this third part here. So if you haven't checked those out already, I'll just throw a link up here. You guys can check those out to follow along. But today, like I mentioned, we're going to be talking about actually editing your videos. And I know a lot of us are probably editing on a laptop computer or something that doesn't have a ton of processing power. So we're going to cover some tips and tricks on how you can save some time and edit faster. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys, so we are starting off where we left off from our last video, which was the timeline organization video. We are still editing the Chad LB Virtual Big Band Cherokee video, and just to do a little recap here, we have our saxophones in green, we have our trombones in purple, we have our trumpets in blue, rhythm section in pink, and our full big band section in this aqua type color here. We actually have our full screen of Chad as well, our feature, and then any other solo full screen instruments like Charles here. I just put those on top, and those will probably be used just scarcely throughout the video. But there's a few things that I just want to point out before we actually start editing here. So take a look at this little drop-down menu right here in your project preview, program preview. Up here, we have this little drop-down, which basically refers to the resolution of the video that you're going to be editing. So right now, I have it at 0.25%, and that is just the smallest percentage that I can edit this video in. It's going to take a ton, it's going to take a lot less computing power when we're dealing with, 18 different videos here plus a ton of nested sequences. Looks like we're going to be dealing with probably 13 to 15 sequences here, which is a ton of footage considering that we have 18 individual videos fit into just one sequence. So that's taking a ton of computing power from your computer. So we want to edit this at the lowest possible resolution. So make sure that is checked to 1/4, because if it's checked at full, it's just going to take a ton of power and it's going to just make your editing process way harder. So that is the first thing I want to make sure you guys do before we even start here. And the second thing is that I like to actually select everything, all of my nested sequences here, and actually drag them all the way to the right. So I'm just going to drag them over to where my other videos were, which looks like right here. And we're just going to literally start off with the audio track. And that's going to ensure that we're not going to be playing, 15 different nested sequences every couple of seconds, because your computer is not going to it's just not going to be able to process that, and it's just going to make it super hard for you. So we're literally just going to edit and then drag out what we need from the right side so that we're only dealing with one nested sequence at a time. And the way that I have this set up, we might be dealing with 3. So you just select them all and then you can drag them out together like this. Super easy, super useful, but that's probably the maximum amount of sequences that we'll be dealing with today. So next step, after you've completed these and kind of checked it off, and we have, right now we have a little bit over a minute. We have 1 minute and 15 seconds where it's literally just audio. So that's plenty of time for us to start our edit, just kind of get the lay of the land here and start actually piecing together some of these cuts to create the video. Now, the way that we're going to do these cuts is we want it to be as musical as possible. We want to support the arrangement of the music. And with traditional big bands, it's kind of in sections, and this will depend on whatever you're going to be using this for. So if you're with a choir, you might want to split it up into, sopranos, altos, tenors, basses, and, kind of go by that. But what we really want to do is actually just take a look at our score, because that's going to inform us way more than just listening to the audio. So if I open up the score here, this is the full concert score for Cherokee, arranged by Stephen Feifke, a great jazz big band arranger out of New York City. If you guys haven't checked him out, definitely go check out his channel. He's got a ton of great stuff over there. But what I'll start with here is just the actual score. So just taking first look at this is like already informing my entire editing process here. I know exactly which instruments I'm going to be using in specific sections, who I want to highlight, and all of that. So just taking a look at bars 1 through 3, or actually 1 through 4 here, I'm seeing that all of the saxophones, all the trumpets, all the trombones, and pretty much our entire rhythm section is playing at this point. So, you know, what can we do to highlight this? So let's actually take a listen at, or let's actually take a look. It says solo fill here for our drums. So what we're going to do is actually treat it as our horns and then drums. And generally in big band arrangements, our rhythm section is going to get a lot of playing time because they're the only ones that are pretty much going to be playing the entire time. So, you know, I'll just use my judgment on how often I want them in. So this is mainly a feature when you take a listen to the audio. This is mainly a feature for the horns up here and then the drums. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to play this. And so that's all horns right there. So what I'm going to do is actually just select the trumpets, saxophones, and trombones third, and I'm going to drag them all the way out. So just taking a look here, it looks like my trumpets are overlaying where my trombones are at. So we're just going to adjust that by coming over here to the position tab in our effects controls, and I'm just going to drag those trumpets up until they meet the top there, and 180 seems about right. So this is basically our full horn section here. Everybody's already lined up, and you know what I can do here is actually just start cutting because I know my drum fill is going to be coming up next. So I can actually select all of these again. I know by my waveform here that they're going to be coming in again. So I'm just going to literally kind of cut these up. And another shortcut that you guys can use is you can do Shift, make sure you're on the cut tool by pressing C, and click Shift, and that'll cut through every single layer that you have here. So really time-saving tip there. So just use that for when you guys are editing this. So I'm just going to keep dragging this out, and just looking back at our arrangement, it's a very fast tempo, 320 for the quarter note, which is very, very fast. So these are all half notes here written out. So this is literally only a couple of seconds, and then another drum fill, horns come back in, another drum fill, horns come back in again, another drum fill, horns, and everybody is coming in here. So I might actually utilize my full big band's template there, and then we'll get into the actual melody, the actual head of Cherokee. So just taking a look at this here, let's just keep cutting this up, and we'll keep editing here. Literally what you're seeing me do is just kind of arrange to the and support the actual music arrangement here. So what I'm going to do is I have a full screen of Charles, our drummer, up here. So I'm literally just cutting, dragging, and we have our big band section here. Drum fill, horn hits again, another drum fill, horns come back in again, another drum fill, all the horns come back in again, and then it looks like there's just another quick drum fill here, so I'll probably cut this right here, select all of my horns, and then these guys are actually just going to go all the way back. I'm not going to need them until I see another section that I need them for in the arrangement, but we are just going to drag out the drums here and just cut that right before our melody comes in. So drums, And literally we have 20 seconds of our entire 5-minute video done in a matter of minutes here. So our melody comes in next, which is Chad. So I'll just play from here. We have our full horns, a short drum break, and then Chad comes in with the melody. So then I will just save that. I'm going to take a look now that we're into the actual head of the chart here where Chad is playing the melody. It's mainly going to be Chad and rhythm section because these horns, these backgrounds are second time only, and that's just the saxophones there playing some pads. So, you know, for a full chorus, it's pretty much just saxophone and rhythm section. Keep in mind what I said about the rhythm section earlier. They're going to get a ton of playing time, so sometimes it's better to just highlight who's actually supposed to be getting the highlight there. So back up to the top, this is mainly a horn section feature. So I don't actually need our rhythm section there, but our drummer is actually getting those 4-bar fills, so we're going to highlight him as well. And that's kind of what we did in just the first couple of seconds here, that intro, until we hit the melody at about 20 seconds, 21 seconds in. And the reason that I have these couple built out is just that I can move them around if I want to. That's just something that I like to keep, and you know, just allows me to edit a little bit faster when I'm building some stuff out. So if you haven't checked out the nested sequences and all of that, definitely check that out. That'll kind of inform you a little bit of why I do it this way. But just getting into it here, you can literally keep checking out the score, and at this point, if it's just melody and rhythm section, I might switch every 8 or so bars back and forth between Chad and the rhythm section, and just keep it that way until the second time when our horns come back in, which is our saxophones. And then I can add a little bit of variation by bringing in our saxophones with our full saxophone screen. But literally, I will just start cutting this up, play it for about 8 bars. So right here, I might just drag my full rhythm section out and then cut Chad a little bit, let our full rhythm section play. Another 8 bars. Chad plays a little bit of a nice line here, so I kind of want to feature that a little bit. Even though it's slightly before our 8-bar kind of cutoff, we still want to be supporting the soloist and just the musical arrangement in general. So this is where your ears are really going to be helping you when you're editing this. So I mean, even though these are just whole notes and half notes for the melody here during the tenor sax feature, he throws in a little bit of a, you know, bebop line before he goes into that second 8 bars. So I'll just cut to him really quick, and then he's into the second part of the head, the second A section. And at this part, our saxophones are kind of playing those pads, so I might cut it at here every 4 bars, and then just throw our saxophones in there and just start building our arrangement out like this. So I'm going to use my ears and I'm going to use my eyes to inform me based on what the arrangement is showing me here, what the arranger has written out, and what my ears are telling me should be featured. So specifically that little line right here where Chad plays that little line going into the second 8 bars. So that's something to keep in mind, and of course this is going to be up to you based on, you know, whatever you guys are making your musical editing decisions on. But I think this is the most fun part. It allows you to highlight the music in the way that you want to highlight it, and allows you your kind of musical video editing artistic freedom. So get creative with it, and you know, we'll review some of your videos next week. All right, guys, so that's how I edit. Now, this is definitely something that's personal to you, the way that you work, you know, your workflow. You definitely just need a lot of trial and error to figure this out. But this is the best way that I have found I work, and just allows me the creative freedom to actually execute what I want for the arrangement. So of course this is going to differ with, you know, whatever instrumentation that you're using, and this is going to differ if you have a choir or a symphony orchestra compared to big bands, even just a small group with 4 to 9 players, something like that. This is all going to vary, and you can create your custom screens and just really enhance the music with the video element. That's what we're trying to do here at the end of the day. But thank you guys so much for joining me for the third part of this little series here. Be sure to check back next week where I'll be reviewing some of the edits that you guys have sent in. I'm super excited for that. I've got a ton of great submissions so far, so I think you guys are really going to enjoy that. So stop back next week. But since this series is kind of coming to a close, I would love to keep informing you guys on how to do your video editing, specifically for music videos, anything music related. So if you guys have any questions on that kind of stuff, just leave that in the comment section below, and we'll get another series up and running here shortly. All right, guys, that's it for me tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.